section tells the glorification of Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, because it is telling who are the people who are listening this Bhagavatam. And then there are 4 questions they are asking. And after that, we have how did Vyasadeva receive mercy to write Bhagavatam. So this is the 2 sections of it. So now, by what glorification they are doing about Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj is very important. About Sukadeva Goswami, they are telling his Nirvalika, and 2, they are telling the 3 differences between Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami also. Here, when they tell about Sukadeva Goswami, they say that how did before in the 4th verse they tell that son of Vyasadeva is a great devotee and equibalanced monist whose mind always concentrated on monism. He was transcendental to mundane activity, but being unexposed, he appeared like a ignorant man. So, Ekantamati is very fixed. Nirvalika means like a small child, few months old, anybody going in front of him, uncle, aunt, he does not have any difference. He cannot see any distinction between who is going, who is coming. For him, everything is some moving object. So for Sukadeva Goswami also is completely absolute monist. He was not having any distinction between form, moving, non-moving. That much this is the aspect that is mentioned here. And Ekantamati is so fixed. How much is fixed? That next verse is telling. What is his? How much he got fixed without any disturbance? And to explain that, they give this example that when Vyasadeva was going behind him, then he passed through the damsels in Badrikashram who are taking bath. But for Sukadeva Goswami, it didn't make any difference. But Vyasadeva had difference. So that much his focus is so much, his absorption is so much that nothing made any difference for him. That's what it is told. That means they are trying to glorify. And another thing they tell about him is, then the next verse is how long he stays at some places. Then third thing they says is how did somebody recognize him first of all, because he wanders like a mad and dumb and such dumb man. He is going around. How can somebody recognize him? And then the next sloka tells he hardly stays. Actually, the first sloka, he hardly stays in somebody's house as long as they milk the cow. He just goes for drinking milk, and that also he may stay for a few minutes to speak about Bhagavatam. But now how he is staying 7 days at one place and without any drinking milk, only speaking about Bhagavatam. How is it possible? And what is that special event that took place? Why he is able to stay at 7 days and continuously speaking Bhagavatam without even drinking, sleeping, or eating anything? That is how they are asking this question. Such great person, why he is speaking? And then they start glorifying about Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, this person is transcendental, he is like this. And Parikshit Maharaj, he happened to meet this sage, making it possible for this great literature to appear. How this happened? Now, so the Goswami is accustomed to staying at door of householders as long as the cow to be milked. But we are seeing he's staying for 1 week. So they are a little surprised. What made it? And then says Maharaj Parikshit, a great first class devotee of Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. And because he is Nishtkali and all these things, activities are wonderful. And he possessed all opulences and his acquired kingdom. Not only that, why did he give up everything and sit on the bank to fasting till death? That means he's like committing suicide. Now, why is because so many people are dependent on him. Why he is doing act of suicide? In 2 cases, Kshatriyas allowed. In a husband dies, the wife can go into sati, and another cases if he has done something very wrong, that time also. And then it is said that he was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength. At the age of 60 also, full strength. Possess kingly opulence, which are difficult to give up. So materially is also no problem. From his enemies, no problem. With his body and health-wise is also no problem. Generally, renunciation comes when a person have so much problems from the enemies. He says, I cannot handle them. Or he has some family issues, then also he has problem. Body also is not cooperating so much, so many diseases, then also he may have. But for him, wealth is there, no financial, no loans, and everything is so nice. But why did he give up? Why did he give up everything and indulge in life? And then he says that this famous shloka, शिवाय लोकस्य भवाय भूतये ये उत्तम श्लोक परायणा जना जीवन्ति नात्मान्त असो पराश्रयम् मुमोच्य निर्विद्य कुतः कलेवरम. So he is giving shelter to many people. Why should he give up his life? Because of him, so many people are becoming Krishna conscious. So those who are devoted to the cause of personal devote live only for the welfare of others, and he is not living for himself also. He is living for others. Others for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. So he is doing so much for others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though Parikshit Maharaj is free from attachment worldly position, how could he give up his mortal life, which was the shelter for others? Even when Shringi's father, Shamik Rishi, he also says the same thing. Arey, my dear son, you have caused somebody who is the shelter for so many people. That's what he says. And then they say, we know that you are expert in meaning of all. Now they told about Parikshit Maharaj, such a great person, Sukadeva Goswami, such a great Paramhamsa, renounced. And how could they meet and spend so much time? That Sukadeva Goswami don't spend that much. And then he says, okay, you know everything. You know, you are expert in all. And some portions of Vedas. So Chandasa, because he is from Pratiloma birth, where his father is a Kshatriya, mother is a Brahmana. So it is considered a low birth. And that's why you cannot recite some portions of Vedas. You are not qualified. And thus you can clearly explain the honor. Still, you are expert in the meaning of all subjects. Even though he is mentioning this part that that some portions you cannot say, but you are pure in heart, you are expert. That's why we want to hear from you, like that. So now we'll see what Sutta Goswami is going to speak from here. Next 15 verses, it start telling about Vyasadev, how he is sitting on the bank of Saraswati and how he received this mercy. Because the question says, how did Bhagavatam appear and what motivated Vyasa Maharshi to write, and then other things also follow by it. So from 7th chapter onwards, he will answer about Parikshit Maharaj. First, he answers about what inspired Vyasa Maharshi to write. That will be 5th and 6th chapters. 4th chapter is understanding the mistake which he has done, and he receives mercy, like that. Of course, in that 5th and 6th, Narada Muni story is also there, which is explaining. So till now, from the first chapter is the questions, second chapter is the theory, answer, and then Leelas, that is what is Bhagavatam. And then they want to know in more detail what is this Bhagavatam, how did it appear, and from where it is happening. So this is the structure is like this. Now we are seeing they ask these questions again. Okay, please elaborate. Why did come? How Parikshit Maharaj, how Sukadeva Goswami, how Vyasadeva wrote, and all. Now he's going to speak about Vyasamuni. Suta Uvacha Dvapare Manuprapte Tritiye Yuga Prayaye Jata Prasad Rat Yogi Vasayam kalaya hare. Vasabhyam kalaya hare. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasdev was born to Parashara in the womb of Saraswati, the daughter of Vasu. There is a chronological order of 4 millennium, namely Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. But sometimes there is overlap. Due to the vision of Vaivaswata Manu, there was an overlap of 28th round of the fourth millennium, 4 millenniums. The third millennium appeared prior to the second. In that particular millennium, Lord Sri Krishna also descended, and because of this, there was some particular alterations. The mother of the great sage was Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu, a fisherman, and the father was the great Parashar Muni. That is the history of Vyasdev's birth. Every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is called Sandhya. Vyasdev appeared in the third Sandhya of that particular age. So there was some benediction in the Puranas. The stories explain how for this particular Yuga they said, okay, Treta to actually this is a story from Ramayanam. Ahalya, she was she was cursed to become a stone. Now the duration is so long. So then Gautam Rishi says, okay, because he says that Lord Ram will come and deliver. Ram always comes in Treta Yuga. Now to make the duration short, he says, okay, let this Treta Yuga come first so that your duration as a stone will reduce. So that is one story is given. But that is 24th millennium. But this millennium, how it happened, I didn't hear any story for that. Because sometimes when sages want, they can make Treta Yuga first and Dwapara Yuga. You understood the point, right? Like Ahalya, Ram comes in Treta Yuga, but Treta is third, and she was cursed in Satyuga time. Now, to reduce the time, because she has to go all the Dwapara Yuga is 2, Treta Yuga is 3. So this is third is Treta Yuga generally. But to reduce that, the Treta Yuga was brought first and then Dwapara Yuga. So that her duration as a remaining as a stone reduces, Lord Ram will come and deliver. So that is the point. So sages make alterations. And here Vyasdev also, this is a very important understanding we should have about Vyasadev. Vyasadev, his birth is very special. Now people may say, they comment on Vyasadev that what is his birth, how is he born. Now it is not actually the question of birth, it is the quality of a person that decides what is his quality of birth. What Vyasa Maharshi did. See, the story about Vyasa Maharshi only is writing in Mahabharata. Here also, it is not that somebody else is writing, first thing. And another thing is, if there is some divinity in it, when Satyavati meets Parashar Muni says, this is a time then when a great personality will appear. If you have union. She says, oh, I am unmarried. And know what will happen, who will marry me? He says, okay, don't worry, you'll remain a virgin. Second thing, he says, you'll also get you will be free from your Matsya Gandha. She was smelling very bad. And third thing, she says that this son will be a great personality, and you'll yeah. The general order is Satyuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta, and Kali Yuga. So he gives, I think, 2 benedictions that you will be free from this order, and then you will remain virgin. Then she says, okay. And then the child is born, immediately becomes big, and immediately he says to mother, I am leaving. Whenever you need me, call me. Now, it is not happening in a natural way. And no, the details are not given. Like, there are 5 ways of conceiving the child. Just by blessing, or giving some fruit, or some sweet rice, what we see Lord Rama's case, or some fruit, I know where we see the case of other so many, or just by touch, or just by desire, and then the last one is the final conception. So there are many ways that there are children are born in the Vedic times. All the Brahma's children are Manasaputras. You don't need any Saraswati to beget children. So this is a great sage, Parashar Muni. So Vyasdev birth is not any, it's not that Parashar Muni could not control his senses and then Vyas Maharshi is born. No, because Vyas Maharshi is born with such high quality. As soon as born, he got, and both father and son, both of them left. And Satyavati comes back and tells his father. And his father, he understands that it's something very divine because that time, 5,000 years back, such thing happens, then everybody will reject it. But he understood because her fragrance changed and she continued to remain like that. And he says, okay, it's all divine arrangement. And now another important thing is what did Vyasa Maharshi do? His contribution to literature, the languages, the Sanskrit, the Ayurveda, the astrology, astronomy, whatever we are reading now, it's all contribution of Vyasadeva only. So we can see there is some divinity and his birth is giving so much difference. The whole of the knowledge what we have, all the Vedic literatures which people are reading, trying to understand all the pujas they are doing, all the rituals, all the knowledge, whatever we are getting from Bhagavad, it's all Vyasadeva. So birth will be questionable if activities are questionable. Now people don't see the birth of Jesus; they'll see the life of Jesus. You know that is very important. So here also, Vyasa Maharshi's birth is very divine. It's not any mundane. It looks like the people. That is the first point to understand here. And so this is how the three sandhyas we have discussed. And of course, Ramayana happened in 24th minute. This is 28th. But how here this happened, this story I didn't see any place. But the alteration happens that I can tell. And any other reference if I get for this 28th cycle of millennium in Vaivashatumanam, if I see a reference, I can let you know. Sakadachit saraswatya upasprushya jalam suchi vivikta eka asina uddite ravi mandale. Once upon a time, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning oblations in the water of Saraswati and sat alone in concentrate. So the river Saraswati is flowing in Bhadrakashram area of Himalaya. So the place indicated is Samya Prasha. So Samya Prasha in Bhadrakashram, where Sri Vyasadeva is residing. Now also he resides there. But we don't have access. That is, and this is where he is meditating. The Saraswati river disappeared because it will be only at Prayag. It is flowing down. Sometimes it disappears because they feel that it is not needed for people now. That's the reason. Paravara janasarishi kalena vyakta ramhasa yuga dharma vetikrama praptam bhuvi yuge. The great sage Vyasdev saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened on the earth in different ages due to unseen force of time. This is very important. See, unseen force of time. This time factor makes all difference. That is the reason we should not take any anxiety. Because anything happens, it is under the control of time. For us, it is time is Krishna, so we need not fear. That's why we should not be under stress, we should not be anxiety. We should work on trying to please Krishna, work on overcoming our anarthas. That is the only thing we should be anxious about. Any other thing not in our control. About what is going to happen tomorrow, what will be financial situation, all health situation, this situation, that situation. It's all under Krishna's control. Only anxiety we should take is how should do our sadhana, how to overcome our anarthas, how to render service to Krishna. This anxiety is the only anxiety we need to have. Other anxiety is just waste of time. Because it's all due to the unseen force of time. Anything happens on earth in different ages due to unseen force of time. So what will happen to the country, what will be the situation of the country, what will be the situation of war in Russia, or what will happen in America. So many things will happen. But it will all happen by the unseen force of time only. It's nobody actually in control. Some this is nobody wins in this world. Only person wins is time, and everything is at that time. So it should not unnecessarily, we should not waste time. The great sages like Vyasdev are liberated soul, and therefore they can see clearly past and future. Thus, he could see the future anomalies in the Kali age, and accordingly he made arrangement for the people in general, so that they can execute a progressive life in this age which is full of darkness. The people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter which is temporary. Because of ignorance, they are unable to evaluate the assets of life and be enlightened in spiritual knowledge. So this is another problem. The thing is, like already Lord is making arrangement. He knows what is the situation of Kali, what we are going through, what difficulties we all face, how many distractions are there because of our fifth Veda, Google Veda, and internet. He knows all the things. Then that's the reason he's giving the easiest possible process, chanting the holy name, which is not there in the other ages. He said, okay, for you, you are so much disturbed, don't worry, just chant Hare Krishna. So, understanding what arrangement Lord made for me to come out of our situation, we can happily, peacefully accept this process, put complete faith on this process, put all our sincerity and our interest, and go ahead. That's all. So the next two verses is Bhautikānām ca bhāvānām Shakti harshām ca tatkritam Ashtadadhanam nihassat Sattvan Durmedhan harshitayusha Durbhagam jnana viksha Jnana viksha munir daimyena chakshusha Sarvavarnashraman yad Dhadohitam amogadrik. He says the great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all status and orders of life. So, he is fully with knowledge. See the transcendental vision through his vision. What he saw? The deterioration of everything material due to influence of age. So everything reduces in this age of Kali. He could also see faithless people in general. So what he will see? Reduce duration of life, would be impatient due to lack of goodness. This is another problem. Thus he contemplated. So he thought, okay, these people, they don't have any goodness. For us to sit for 10 hours and read Bhagavatam will be very difficult. And even if we do something, we immediately expect result. Why things are not happening so fast? We want everything instant. That's why we have all this instant food, and all these things are now online ordered. Now they have these apps. 20 minutes, whatever you add, you'll reach, everything will get in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So people, they just want everything immediately. So this is what is the problem in this age. See what Prabhupada writes about it. The unmanifested forces of time. So from the previous shloka also Prabhupada is writing. Then the unmanifested forces of time are so powerful that they decay all matter in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of around 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. So the power of the objects is also reduced. Not only humans, even for the objects also, they don't have so much power. Like if milk is there in previous ages, it's so powerful. But in Kali Yuga, the milk will not have so much power. Same thing, even so, not only the for humans, even the objects also are like that. In this age, the duration of material body of people in general is much reduced. So for material body is reduced, And so is the memory. Body is also weak, memory is also weak. The actions of matter has also not so much. Uh, the action of matter has also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grains. Land became weak in the same proportions as it did in other ages. So land also is weak. The cow does not give as much milk as it used to give formerly. So previous ages. So land is gone, milk is gone. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. As such, all living beings, both men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food due to want of so many necessities of life, namely, the duration of his life is reduced, the memory is short, intelligence is meager, mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy, and so on. So, all these things are because this is the everything deteriorates. So the quality of land deteriorates, food deteriorates, people's many memory deteriorates, body deteriorates, because of which then what happens, there is reduce in the duration of life, memory is less, intelligence is meager, and then relationship are also very weak. It's full of hypocrisy. So this is what Vyasdev is seeing. So now what is he doing? Being a liberated soul, the great sage Vyasdev could see by his transcendental vision. As an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or an astronomer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipse, liberated souls can foresee the futures of all mankind by seeing through the scriptures. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual advancement. So they could do it because they they have this vision, Nirbalika. They are offering all these qualities which will help them to see what is in future, and they are very kind, and because of which their this knowledge is revealed to them. So Vyasdev, because it's transcendental vision, is seeing all these people. So they are making arrangement for us. This is the arrangement of Vyasdev for all of us. He's seeing all of our state. He's understanding the problems which we are going through. That is why he is making this arrangement. So if we understand that how much Vyasdev is concerned for us, we will try to take the solution what Vyasdev is giving us. And all such transcendentalists who are natural devotees of Lord are always eager to render welfare service to people in general. So he is very eager to help us. Now, what is the help he is doing? They are the real friends of people in general, not the so-called public leaders who are unable to see what is going to happen 5 minutes ahead. Oh, this is not, they are not real. So for us, Vyasdev is a real friend, not our political leaders. In this age, the people in general, as well as their so-called leaders, are all unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge, influenced by the age of Kali. They are always disturbed by various diseases. For example, in the present age, there are so many TB patients and TB hospitals that when Prabhupada is writing 50, 60 years back, now not TB, you have cancer, you have so many other complicated diseases that all appear. But now Corona is also one virus sufficient, it will finish up. But formerly there was not so, because the time was not so unfavorable. See, this diseases are not so much in previous ages. Body is very healthy. And this is why, because in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Krishna says, Padam Gachanti Anamayam. A person who practices this type of Nishkam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, they reach a place called Padam Gachanti. Gachanti means they reach Anamayam. Amayam means toxins. In Ayurveda, all the diseases are because of the toxins. Toxins, how they generate? If we eat food and it is not properly digested, the undigested food becomes into toxins. Similarly, if you don't live life according to the rules and regulations which are prescribed for us, then we develop toxins in our mind. There will be toxins in the mind means that we develop so many anarthas, and that is the cause of our unhappiness. See, ama is the cause of diseases for the body. The toxins that are generated is disease for the body. But the toxins that are generated in the mind because of not following rules is the cause of unhappiness. If we are unhappy, that that proves that there are toxins in our mind. We need to clear them. This is what actually what Vyas Maharshi is saying. These people does not live properly. They don't have any proper memory. They don't have any proper intelligence. That's why they are all suffering. So he wanted to help all of us. The unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalists who are representative of Srila Vyasdev. They are not understanding these persons, these acharyas, gurus are coming to cure me. People don't understand. We go and give Bhagavad Gita, we try to tell Bhagavatam class, please attend. They are least interested. They say, no, we are already okay. We are fine, we are fine. And yet these selfless workers are always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all status and orders of life. So even though people are not interested, the Prabhupada and Acharyas, they go and try to give this. They're so selfless. The greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasa, Narada, Madhva, Chaitanya, Rupa, Saraswati, etc. So these are the great philanthropists, not the so-called philanthropists who are working for satisfying the belly and giving some other material. They're all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. So this is what is glorified. So Vyas Maharshi is seeing our condition, is feeling for it, he's trying to give a solution. And we have to gratefully accept the solution and take it. Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajnana viksha vedikam yadata yajna samsatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham. He saw that the sacrifice mentioned the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into four in order to explain them among men. So now what Vyasa Maharshi did, that is explained here. Anybody has any questions till now? You can go ahead. Okay. So I was telling why the sacrifice. So I mentioned previously also how the sacrifice purifies. Because when any activity we are doing, if we are putting some seeds in a in the ground, then it will fructify and then the tree will come, then the fruits will come. So you have to bear the fruits. But if you put the same, if you fry the seeds and put in fire, they'll get burnt. You will not get out of it. Similarly, if you are doing any activity in ignorance, if heart is ignorance, filled with soil and mud, then the fruits will come. That is all karma. But if same thing in the heart, if you have knowledge, what knowledge does? If you do activity with knowledge, it will burn that. You will not get any reaction with it. So activity in ignorance means putting seed on soil. Activity with knowledge means you are putting the seed in the fire, which will burn, no more reaction. The Papa Bija, Karma Bija will not appear. The knowledge now the heart is in ignorance, that is full of soil. Now if you give that knowledge, the heart becomes like fire. The knowledge is compared to fire, which will burn. That's why buddhi, dadami buddhi yogadam. Buddhi is also compared to fire. If a person is able to consciously understand and do an activity, he will not get any karma. He is free from karma. Maybe some other time we can more elaborately discuss. This is the idea is like this. Now that is why he wanted to give this process of sacrifice. So he saw sacrifice mentioned meant are the means by which people's occupation could be purified. So they need to perform sacrifices. Formerly, there was only one Veda of the name Yajur, and the four divisions of sacrifice were also they're specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into four divisions of sacrifice, just to purify the occupational service of four orders. Above the four Vedas, namely Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, there are the Puranas, the Mahabharata, Samhitas, etc. So Samhitas are also part of Vedas. Samhitas will separately also. Even Vedas are also called Samhitas. Samhita, Sam means complete, sum total. Hita means which will give the complete benefit, which are known as the fifth Vedas. Srila Vyasadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic towards the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Puranas and Mahabharatas were made from related historical facts which explain the teachings of the four Vedas. So, this is the point. To make us understand the Vedas, the Puranas and Mahabharata are given. It's a theory and these are practical. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as part and parcel of the Vedas. In the Chandogya 7.14, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned as the fifth Vedas. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the perspective values of the revealed scripture. So, based on Chandogya and based on Jiva Goswami's authority, we can confidently say that Puranas and Mahabharata are fifth Veda, like that. So now he explains. Yes, this is as much right. Rig Yadur Samartar Vyakhya Veda Chatvara Uddhara Itihasa Puranamscha Panchamo Veda Uchyate. The four divisions of the original source of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately. But the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in Puranas are called the fifth Veda. It's clear. Even Bhagavatam also says that Puranas are fifth Vedas. So we have three authorities. Chandogya Jiva Goswami and Panchama Veda Uchyate. Itihasa Puranamcha Panchamo Veda Uchyate. And Bhagavatam is also authoritatively confirming that Purana Itihasa Panchamo Veda Uchyate. Now he is going to, here it is mentioned which part of the Vedas was given to him. The four divisions are made, and there are some particular sages who are assigned to propagate this. So how this is a very elaborate descriptions are there, how this Vedas, and after giving these sages and all, we will see. That let's check this whole view. Okay, this I will. Yeah, formally the Vedas were only formally there was only the Veda of the name Yajur. The four divisions of sacrifice were there specifically mentioned. I don't know what is four divisions of sacrifice. I'll find out. I might have heard, but I forgot. Anytime I come in touch with this word, four divisions of sacrifice. Don't know. I might have heard, but somehow missed. I will see if I get any reference. I will try to find. And I'm sorry, actually, I am not able to get time to send the notes which we made for other classes. I will take time this week and I will try to send. Okay, we'll see that. Sorry, yeah, we are doing this 25. So here, what Vyasa Maharshi does, he is assigning the Vedas to different sages. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Payalurshi became the professor of Rig Veda. Professor. And Gemini, the professor of Samaveda, and Vaishampayana alone, alone became the glorifier of Yajurveda. So what they did, they further divide. When Pailarishi, what he does, he further divides them and he assigns to his disciples. and then they further divide, because to remember one part is only very difficult. So they were having big memories. Like it goes, it was divided into more and more smaller parts so that they can understand it and then they explain to others. Previously, it was not. It was. It was not that you can read anything and everything everywhere. No, you have to go to Guru and learn. So it was. We don't have Google that time. You just type one Veda and you get it. So Sumantau Muni and Angira, the Sumantau Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, were interested with Veda, and my father Romaharshan was interested with Puranas and historical records. They are all Brahmanas, but Romaharshana is Suta. He's not. He's from Pratiloma. That's why he was not given Vedas. He was given all Puranas. So he was well versed in all Puranas. Now, even though he was assigned with Puranas, when he is not chanting, so Sutta Goswami heard all the Puranas from his so from his father Romaharshana, except for Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam he heard from Sukadeva Goswami. In the Suti mantras also it is stated that Angira Muni, who strictly followed the rigid principle of Atharva Veda, was the leader of followers of Atharva Vedas. So it was further divided by them, and then and we also read Yajurveda. Yajurveda is Ishopanishad is part of Yajur. And then like that. So the any samhitas of Yajurveda Upanishads, they are starts with Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam. So that's the mantra that is chanted with that. And so this is very nice section. Yeah, we'll just take one more verse and we'll end. And tomorrow I will try to complete this chapter, and some important points are there to discuss. Maybe tomorrow I will take time and try to help, because now we are we are ahead in purport, so we don't have much tension. One chapter we can keep a difference and discuss very elaborately some important. All these learned scholars in their turn render uh, their entrusted Vedas onto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and the respective branches of the followers of Vedas came into being. So they divided and further gave it down. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas. They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great, respectable, and learned professors. In other words, the Vedic knowledge divided into different branches have been distributed all over the world by different disciplic sections. No one, therefore, can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. So, thank you all very much. We have just one day to go to. Maybe tomorrow we have 33 shlokas only this chapter. We'll be able to complete whole chapter, but it's quite simple chapter. It's very easy, straightforward, not much complicated. So thank you all very much.